Hi guys, welcome. We're back for Digital IQ, and I have a very special guest, a good friend. He's going to be joining us in a moment. I wanted to thank my previous guests, and I have a few more lined up before the year closes. Next week, we are going to be talking with Ginny, who is out of Suriname, and we're going to be talking as well with another very special friend. And what I'm doing this year is just to speak to people once again who have been motivating me, who have been inspiring me, who have kept me going this year. And it's a bonus that I get to create great content for my friends and my followers, and it helps me to pick up my own energy and my own pace, because truth be told, this time of the year, generally speaking, it's emotional. It is also a bittersweet time with the holidays, and also coming into an awareness of my own missing of my family. And I mean, generally speaking, this year has been rough for most people, but I have found that conversations with friends have kept me going. And Mario Evon, Dr. Mario Evon Guthrie, who is our guest today, is definitely someone who has kept me going this year in many ways, whether it be with a phone call, a WhatsApp, or messaging him medical questions when I was really paranoid. And Mario has been a guest on CEO Chat on my Instagram. And that's actually a really, really, really good conversation if anybody's interested. We spoke about creative collision, and Mario is what he calls himself, a multi-potentialite. I hope I said that right. He's nodding, so I know. And he wears many hats. And in that particular conversation, and I'll actually link in the comments here, I'll link to that conversation for CEO Chat. He spoke about how he somehow doesn't get his lines crossed. Somehow they blend very well together. But I'm going to welcome Mario, because we're going to be talking about his year in review right now. Hi, Mario.
Hi, Anika. It's such a pleasure to be back. As always, it's always a joy to talk to you.
You one of my friends.
I'm your new friend, and you're like my new friend, which is actually we're going to talk
I
about
know,
new
but
friend.
we go way back. Like, it feels way back.
Way back, like 2 years ago.
I have to use hand gestures.
2 years. How are you?
I'm okay. Do you see that I totally forgot who my guests are next week? Like, I was trying to remember, and we're live, and I was like, oh, I can't remember.
Well, guess what?
I'm just gonna let it all hang out right now.
Right now, you know who is here today.
So we're talking to Mario today. And truth be told, I mean, generally speaking, these conversations, they motivate me, they keep me going.
Yeah.
I have not been, frankly, inspired to create like content for my Instagram, like, the very digital heavy brand strategy. I'm not motivated to create it. I've been kind of on the fence of figuring out what my next direction is or where I'm shifting to. And these conversations, though, I think they bring a lot of value to the folks who are on the profile, and they get great value out of it. So I figured, let's do some more. And yours was a hit when we did CEO Chat. Everybody loved it.
I didn't know that. It was great.
I know everybody loves CEO Chat with you. I guess because of your multi-potentialite potential.
I like that. You know what I like? Well, I saw your digital IQ with David Mullins, who I would say at this point is a boss entrepreneur. And I think it's important to catch entrepreneurs at different levels. And for me, because I'm a doctor, I think people associate doctors with a great deal of stability and structure.
Yeah.
To forget that we also really, when we run our own practices and we're entrepreneurs, that we have the same struggle as any other entrepreneur. And nobody teaches us how to be entrepreneurs in medical school.
Yeah.
So the things you have to learn is a hill, like mountains of information and things that we have to learn to do, and that's important to people. So I don't mind. I love being in space because I want people to know that there are people who are professionals.
Yeah.
who struggle and hustle too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yeah.
there's that assumption that
I
you
walk
ain't
back.
confident, like you're a big doctor, like it. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's set, but it's not set. You have to put in the work, especially if you're not in a hospital salary-based,
Mhm.
contract-based kind of workplace.
So okay, so let's break it down because not many people, if anybody doesn't know
Right.
Dr. Mario Guthrie slash Mario Evon, they don't know that you are an artist, a singer, performer, songwriter,
Right.
doctor, podcast host,
Yeah.
general entertainer. So in our last conversation, and I had touched on it just a while ago, I asked you if you get your lines crossed, and you said no.
Mm-hmm.
And in many ways, those hats that you wear tend to help each other almost.
They do. They do.
Yeah. How do you think that that has helped you in terms of, I don't know, because I don't know if balance exists in your world because it doesn't exist in mine, but how does the hats, the multiplicity of hats that you wear, how does it help you?
You know, one thing I learned in life is that a lot of the skills that you learn in each profession, each thing that you do, at the time that you're doing them, you don't recognize how much they play into each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have to say that they're almost like the same thing in different places because they help and assist and motivate people in different ways. But there are always people, there's always me, and there's always motivation. And those three things always coexist. And I find that people come out feeling better, people come out feeling happy. Um, and I think I get some joy out of making people transition from X to Y, whatever that is. So unwell to well, from I'm having a crappy day to I performed a song to, okay, I saw that performance and I forgot that I was getting a divorce or that I was really upset about the day and I feel better now.
Yeah.
So those are the similarities, and I think those are where the two kind of connect.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would probably say but balancing, and I think that's your question. 2020, I want to make it specific to 2020 that my gross income, about 31% of it, I discovered was from entertainment. And when
Wow.
the pandemic hit, I lost all of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It forced me to focus more on building my private practice. And it, in a way, it's a good thing because I was juggling so much doing everything that I didn't realize how many other things I could have done to make this space a little bit more
Yeah.
fruitful. So I'm grateful actually that I did have that break as much as I miss it because it allowed me to kind of just pull back
Yeah.
and structure a little bit more.
You know, it's funny because even ahead of COVID and when we had just started kind of talking,
As my monitor, we were trying to calm me down.
you were kind of putting your medical practice on the back burner.
Right. I was kind of crapping on it a little bit, just a little bit, just like poop.
Yeah. Even in our CEO chat, I think you even said that that you see yourself first and foremost as an entertainer.
And I still do. And
Yeah.
but I think the pandemic has caused an even more forceful paradigm shift in that regard, because I know that I do a lot more medicine now than I've done, and it has really changed form in this year
Mm.
in a good way, business wise.
Okay. And Andrea Bin says she's listening. Thank you,
Hi,
Andrea.
Andrea, always a support the thing. Yeah, Andrea.
And hello,
Hi,
Paloma.
hello, ma'am. How are you logging in? We have people here. People are here. I
We
love that.
got some viewers.
You got
Yeah. Okay. So tell us a little bit about your 2020. So this is your year in review.
Yeah.
How have you been? How have you been? I guess you could say embracing that aspect of the medical doctor hat a little bit more. Apart from obviously it being probably a little bit more fruitful, like how have you embraced it? Because you were not embracing it before. Just saying.
I guess a part of me has always had to embrace it, but with resistance. What has happened this year, even though I was on CEO chat before, ironically, I'm really now just finally embracing that I'm a CEO. So I was on CEO chat, kind of being a fake CEO, not really, not fake, but you know what I mean. And just to give the viewers a little more clarity on what I mean by that. My practice is set up in a building where my father is a gynecologist and he's older, which means that he may be approaching retirement, which means what I'm really embarking on is a transition, changing of guards, whether by force or otherwise. And I am finally sitting in that.
Mm-hmm.
And for a long time, I've been a GP for 5 years. I have not sat in that. I've been, in the beginning, I was dilly-dallying music GP. I don't know what I'm on. They have missed some days at work. I come in. And now I am there Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm locked in.
Mm-hmm.
And I am fully present. And so I think what's really happening for me now is I'm really seeing this change and shift happening and doing all that I need to do to ensure that is a smoother transition and making just really good decisions to try and improve the space. And I wasn't there before, Anika. I wasn't there before. So that has been a big shift for me.
As in there before, mentally or physically or both?
Mentally. I think I started to be there physically. Mentally, I wasn't really taking the responsibility that I needed to take.
Mm-hmm.
And because I shared the space with my mother and my father, doctor and office manager respectively, I think I was able to kind of dodge some of the responsibility. But the pandemic came and it pushed a lot of things digital, which wasn't the space that they were as comfortable in. So I had to step up and fill that. Everything from paying bills to paying vendors to paying, I was the one doing it. So I'm literally in the online banking I'm doing a lot of that stuff.
You're right.
Because they were manual, they were paper. They were paper before or going into the bank. So that just forced the shift on me even harder.
Well, I'm gonna put this up on screen because this was when you get front page feature.
Who's that?
Dr. Mario Guthrie. So this is you embracing your medical doctor hat a little bit and being acknowledged for it. What was this moment like? Tell me about this moment.
Well, I always like to speak my truth, and I'll be honest. The behind the scenes, the BTS of that cover was really me at home in quarantine because I got COVID, and someone from the Observer, I was recommended to them, and they called me. They wanted me to come and do the photo shoot. I couldn't do the photo shoot because I couldn't leave my house. And like a lot of interviews, I was sent questions that I actually answered via email. And the writer did a really good job of really putting together her perspective and my answers into a really nice, tight article. And I was appearing as a doctor. I was appearing as a medical doctor, as you said. And traditionally, when I'm in this kind of space, I like to be Mario Evon,
Yeah.
Be the entertainer, because in my mind, that's what I prefer and that's how I want to exist. But yeah, this year has forced me to embrace the two personas, which I've been from we were meeting and marketing talks. We discussed that, and I'm a bit more comfortable with the two becoming one this year. And the power that it has to impact and inspire others is great. And I think at the end of the day, that's really what we need to be doing. So it's not really about me wanting to be a musician only.
Do you think, had you been given a choice, would you have embraced it? Because technically, do you feel like you had a choice in terms of embracing the two personas this year?
Somewhat. I feel like you always have a choice, but I'd say somewhat no, because I feel like because the performance aspect was ripped from underneath me, I was probably really embracing the medical space so much more that I think I really started to feel it that way. But you can always push Mario Evon. I could have still put a lot of energy into Mario Evon, but something said put more energy into Dr. Guthrie this time.
Yeah.
But I was working with my universal flow, because I'm all about that flow.
Yeah.
Flow was saying flow right here, so this is what's going on. So let's put some energy here, and here we are.
How do you think your community influenced that aspect of you embracing all of it? I mean, you have folks who are dedicated to both of your different profiles and pages.
Right.
How do you think your community influenced that? There's a helicopter.
There's a helicopter. I feel like the choice was really, really mine, to be honest. But what I would say about the community is that the community continues to nurture you in all that you do. So in that way, I think the community supported me. I mean, a lot of people hit me up for online appointments. People are still coming into the office, you know. Um, there are few people who ever really say don't do music, you know, but they always say don't stop doing music. And I can tell that they miss me as a musician and they want it and they want it.
Mhm.
But I think my community really just supports me, and I hope everybody can find a community that supports them at the core. They just want to ensure
Yeah.
that you're good, and if you're good, then whatever you choose to do is fine. And I have
Mhm.
support. I
Mhm.
really have good support around me all the time.
Well, I mean, count yourself lucky. Not many people have that kind of support. That's good.
No, yeah, I'm fortunate, and I have it in many different communities. My communities are gym community, you know, people from old schools, people from other places of employment, entertainment community, and usually there is someone I can speak to or call on to support me in
Mhm.
something if I really want to. I just don't ask for help a lot, but I know that they're there.
If somebody doesn't feel like they have that kind of support, like what would you recommend for them in terms of seeking out or searching for that kind of community or that support? What would you suggest?
Tinder. I'm just joking, no.
Dude, you can't do that.
All right, sorry. This is digital IQ.
No, it's fine. Like,
I know, but you allowed us to find you. I mean, sometimes you shake them up to make sure that they're watching.
I love it. I'm just happy I wasn't drinking anything at the time.
Camera splashed. To be honest, it's hard to really find community if you don't have community. And I think the best way to find a stable community is to find the things that you love.
Mm,
You can identify within yourself the spaces you like to be in and the things that you love. If you love anime and you can find an anime group on Facebook or anime community, I think it starts from there. And when you see me and music and entertainment, that's why I have a music community, because I do things in that space. And also, if you have a skill that you're really good at, push
mm,
yourself out in that space, and suddenly you will form community around that skill. So if you're a videographer and you're good at it, people are going to start seeing your stuff, and
right.
then they're going to start messaging you. They may not be best friends, but it's not about best friendship all the time. This is about community. So
Mm-hmm.
you have a
Mm-hmm.
video community that supports you. So you just have to really believe in yourself and keep pushing out there. I mean, so it's not even so much about just networking. You just have to put yourself out first. You'd be surprised how community forms. Like my podcast, I did it because I wanted to speak about things that are taboo in Jamaican culture. Uh,
Yeah.
I created this podcast with no listeners. I have my inbuilt community. By the time I'm done, I have at least three to 400 people that will download an episode within a 30-day period. And it may not
That's
sound like a lot,
awesome.
but the fact that there are ears all over the world are listening to these conversations from a Jamaican perspective with other people from Jamaica or in the diaspora, to me, it's powerful, and I love it because people are touched and people message me and they tell me how much this conversation, intrigued them or made them think about something they hadn't thought about before. And then there you go, another community, and then you are also empowered by
Mm-hmm.
sharing with this community and them sharing back with you, and then you keep going, and it's a beautiful thing.
I like it. It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
Is that gonna be a Tinder profile? Should be
Well,
on. Beautiful
well,
thing.
and I'm
Okay, go back.
not on Tinder because I'm not
People
an
gonna be
online dating
searching for
person.
Mario now.
Yeah, I don't do online dating for many reasons, but I'm okay off online dating.
Mario.
Offline dating. I offline date.
Okay, okay. Mario is blushing. So next question. How, I'm gonna ask you about Talk Truth. Um, because how long have you been doing Talk Truth? No, it's like a year.
A little over. So I launched it in May 2019, and
Yeah.
I didn't have a strict structure, but I did 20 episodes, and I called that season one. I took about a 3 month break, and then I did 20 episodes again. I called that season two, and
Mm-hmm.
then the pandemic happened, and I took an extended break, a mental health break,
Mm-hmm.
because I was feeling burnt out, and that happened this year. And I planned to take a 3 month break and start back in September. I actually started back maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but the pandemic became a little overwhelming for me, and the need for me. I think when we did our first interview, I wasn't feeling as bad as I started to feel, but I felt like I took the pandemic as an opportunity to show up because I was one of those who was like early out, oh yeah, people there them yard, well, I could grab up these eyes, and I went hard, and I was
Yeah.
doing song association with me, I was doing podcasting, and I was still working as a doctor because I didn't have work from home like other people. So I'm doing everything, and I'm senior solopreneur. So I'm doing all of this mainly by myself, head cook and bottle washer, and I started to just feel empty. I was showing up, I was physically present, I was performing like a good performer, light switch on, yeah, song association, excitement, come on. And
Mash up.
I started to just not want to show up anymore. I didn't want to do the videos anymore. I didn't want to contact any other guests. I was just tired. I didn't want to show up. I was done.
Mm-hmm.
And I listen to my body cues. That's one thing about me. So, I have friends who know I do a lot. So they worry about me, and they wonder if I'm really like balancing. But I'm a Libra, I'm the scale, I balance. Once I start feel out of balance, I just
Yeah.
lock up things. Like I'm like that. I'm that dude. I don't do it disrespectfully. I'm like, boop, gonna save myself before
Mm-hmm.
I jump off this cliff.
Mm-hmm.
But it took me a while to realize what's going on, but I started to have like lack of interest in everything. I started to feel tired.
I
Yeah.
know that
Can you
feeling.
relate? Can you relate?
Yeah, feels that sounds familiar.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even right now, my office was picking up as a private practice, and coming into December, I thought, why not work on those days when everybody's on leave? Like I work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so why not work like right into the Christmas and just take the public holidays, like a lot of business people do. But
Mm-hmm.
something my soul said, Mario, take a break because you're doing a lot and you need to figure out how to re-enter 2021 a little more structured. And as much
Mm-hmm.
as structure is developing, I want it to come back with a plan. Or even if I do nothing, I want to watch season 4 of The Crown. And if that me I do, that me I do. I just
Yeah.
not talking to patients right now in this 2-week period, and I am okay with it. And I took my leave.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody who is can vex. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, I protect myself and my mental
Mm-hmm.
health. And I come back a much better doctor in 21.
Well, I mean that's the ultimate goal. I mean to just be better overall going forward. Yeah.
Right.
What What would you say is your most memorable moment this year?
Hmm. Memorable. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
My most memorable moment. Wow, that's you see, here you go with these questions, I tell you. Um does it have to be a good thing? Yes, a happy moment. A happy
No,
memorable moment.
no, it doesn't. I mean, it would be memorable in the sense that maybe it could have taught you something. Like I'm actually curious because I wanted to know about your most memorable moment, maybe this year with your various hats. So maybe you had a memorable moment as a doctor. Maybe you had a memorable moment as the performer. Like what would be your memorable moment? Moments.
Moments. Well, let's say, it happened this year. I can't remember the pandemic had hit off yet, but earlier in the year, Dr. Coombs at Philip Coombs
Yeah.
had a group of doctors that we did a Don't Rush challenge.
Oh
And
yeah, I remember that.
when I was asked to be a part of it, I remember coming home from work really tired, and I had to do, the regular, people shoot their own videos thing, set up the lighting, set up the camera, and plan out this Don't Rush. Doctor's outfit, transition to a cooler outfit. And I remember just doing it on the fly. It took me a few minutes, and when he posted that video and tagged me as Mario
Mhm.
Evon and Dr. Mario Godfrey, I had a host of followers. When I said my following on both channels, Medical and Mario Evon, jumped like maybe hundreds. Like I had
Wow.
never had that many followers, and of course, mainly women, because they were like, "Who is he?" They apparently liked my scene, and then it was like a competition. He was like, "Which doctor you like the most?" So of course, the
Yeah.
ladies were in the comments, and they were going hard, and they were in my DMs as well. That was memorable because I appreciated them for inviting me. I'm glad that I took the time to do it, and it reminded me of how sometimes just a really small thing, something that
Mhm.
seems really small, 5 minutes out of your day, can just sometimes catapult into a social media viral monster that can be of great benefit to your business or to you professionally or to your ego, wherever it helps you. But it was a boost, man. I like it was a boost, and I didn't
Mm,
expect it. But I forgot that he had tons of followers. So even if a
mm,
fraction of his followers liked it, they some of them became my followers.
mm-hmm.
And that's the same thing with the all woman cover as well. I
Yeah.
just answered questions in an email. Not unusual for me being a performer for years. This is what we do featured in the media from time to time. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Um, but the impact again, it was like people in the street. I had new patients who came to me. I had an older man who said to me, "Nice article, good work, keep inspiring the youth." I mean,
Mm,
people were telling me how they felt motivated, and Jamaica needs to see more men like me. Where for me, I felt like I just answered a few questions in 5 minutes. This is my day today. But for
yeah.
it's cool to be reminded of your impact. It's cool to be reminded because when you are on the hustle side, you forget. When you're editing the podcast and throwing it up by midnight, you're forgetting that somebody on the other end of this is
It's so
really
true.
doing something bigger than you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so
So
true.
that's I'll call that highlight. My highlight is having the ability to inspire and influence in in spaces that I didn't expect would have happened. The Don't Rush video, the all woman
Mm-hmm.
cover, some conversation with me, which people keep asking back for. Like of all the things that I do, I think if there's anything people have asked me to do, it's come back with song association, even more than anything else this year. I've heard that from many people. So
Yeah.
it really filled that space of joy to come on this live and watch somebody guess the words of a song in 10 seconds. And they got to participate and comment and get ratchet in the comment section. And they had a ball for half an hour. Nice, short,
Yeah.
light, sweet, and fun in the pandemic. And they liked it. They really loved it. So yeah, those are my highlights.
What would you say? I mean, well, I wanted to touch on that first performance that you had or hosting gig, which is
Posted.
this.
Yes. All
Yeah.
right. So I actually am an employee of Sagicor. I work there as a sessional doctor like once a week. So this was their career week. And I think because they were talking to employees about choosing multiple professions, not just being locked into one thing, they thought it would be a good fit for me, Mr. Potentialite, to MC their online bar. So this is the final day of their career week, and they have been sitting down in Zoom sessions being inspired. And this was me and DJ Roderick. I did a quick summary at the top of the event, and then Roderick took over. And then it was just vibes. It was just us interacting with surgical workers on Zoom. Some of them were still at work. And we got
Yeah.
them to get up to the seats and dance. People were rocking, turn on the cameras. And it was a vibe. And it was my first time doing, that type of MC work. Scary, to be honest, because the internet connection dropped. So a lot of the stuff I was talking about, I needed to see on screen. The screen disappeared. So I was kind of winging it from a paper. Thank God I had paper. God bless paper. But it was difficult. It was difficult to not have an audience. It was difficult to not feel the presence of real people, see them laugh, see them smile. It was nothing I've ever done before, and just reminded me that I still have more to learn because this might be a thing for another year and a half or so. Who knows?
Oh
So
God.
I was like, wow. I know, sorry, but hey, we have to face the realities, right?
Damn. And it's coming from a doctor, so you know. Oh shit.
Yeah. No, we don't
But
need to go to it. You can imagine. Sorry?
well, that was actually a question I was gonna follow up to a while ago was what do you think that the virtual hosting for you was more difficult than like the physical element of hosting?
It was because I am a performer at heart, and that's what I do. So we learn to build our vibes within ourselves, because that's something you have to do as a performer. 'Cause even if your audience is flat, you have to find energy. But that aside, you really feed off of your audience. Your audience helps you decide what line is next. Your audience decide whether it's a conservative audience, you go a different direction. You don't have any
Mm.
clue what going on the
So you
Zoom.
can see their
And people
faces
listen
and that kind of thing too,
and
eh?
see their faces, and see if you offended them with a joke, and be like, no, no more jokes like that. But virtual, I was lost. I was lost. I felt like a deer in headlights. I'm like, the camera's on, and yeah, go.
Wow.
So
What
it was hard.
say is your the hardest lesson you had to learn this year?
I think there were a few. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think my hardest lesson would be to remember to be present. And I think I
Mm-hmm.
say it a lot, but I think the year really concretized what presence meant. I think a lot
Mm-hmm.
of times we have an understanding of what it means to be present, and we say we're present, but with all of the deaths of people I knew, like musicians, like Feluke, people I didn't know, like Chadwick Boseman and Toots, um,
Mm-hmm.
it's a really bizarre year. And death for me always a very strong reminder to live, to live, to live.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know, you have all these ideas in your head floating around that you don't act on because it's not perfect, and you don't have the right camera, and you don't know how to podcast. But yet there's 50 million free services, and you have a cell phone, and you have Wi-Fi or data. Like record a damn video. And that's a part of being present too. I think just starting is being present
Yeah.
in embracing your ideas that you want to throw into the world, dash them out. And then from a personal standpoint, put down your phone when you're talking to people. Hang out with your parents and literally like hang out with them. Like ask them about their grandparents, ask them about their past, have
Yeah.
conversations with them and really be there, like be there. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the lesson of 2020 for me. I mean, there are many more. I mean, ask for help is a consistent one for me, but be present is one. Also reminding myself to trust my gut in everything and to
Mm-hmm.
take care of myself. And the taking care of myself was like the break I took to kind of feel normal again. And trusting my gut is just always one that I like because you normally know yourself good. So whenever you feel that thing, you must believe it's real.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
What?
the be present thing is real.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny when you're talking about the parents thing. Like, I think for me, one of my realizations this year would have been I would have liked to have gotten to know my parents in the sense of how they handle certain situations. Because you have an idea of who your parent is, based on who they were to you, but not as who they were to them. Like their personal identity, their personality, their quirks, what made them feel like shit, how they got motivated after like a downfall. And I felt like I had that craving of having those conversations this year in particular because of how hard it has been. Like knowing how can I get myself out of this slump, how, like that kind of conversation. So speaking about being present and having those conversations, I would definitely concur on to take the opportunity and have conversations with own parents. I'm just saying that's my lesson for the day.
And just to take the host hat from Anika because it's her show. For all of y'all who don't know, Anika lost both of her parents relatively close to each other a couple of years back, and we actually have a podcast where we discussed discuss losing parents, and Anika was kind enough to be the guest. And we just came upon recently the anniversary. I'm not trying to make Anika cry, but some people may not know why they may not understand why you said that you would have wanted to speak to them because they don't understand the context. And the context is that
Good point.
she can appreciate this more because they're not around. So,
Mm.
um, so all of your little problems with an appearance, try to sweep it under the mat here because there are things you might want to know from them while they're here. Yeah, go get it.
Or you know what?
Well,
Maybe not even sweep them under the mat. Maybe it's time to air it out. Air it
maybe
out.
time to air it out and have the conversation so we can move
Yes,
to another place. So we can move
yes,
on to another place. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Air it out.
I like
Don't.
that. I like that.
I'm
Air
not
it out.
about sweeping things under mats.
Right. We're not bypassing it, but maybe we should address it.
Yeah, but yeah. For context, yeah, for anybody who didn't know that. So this year has been rough, and I think because of the memorials and because of just overall just this time frame, like I just went quiet. Like
Yeah.
I just needed to. That was me pulling back because I needed to be okay here.
Yeah. It's a weird time.
Yeah.
A weird
What?
time in a weird year.
Here's another question, and I have like maybe two more questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Would you do anything differently this year? Is there anything you'd have done differently?
I always like this question because I get it a lot in terms of my medical and music careers. And I think based on how I choose to live life, I always like to say no. But if the question is if I could, I always still feel to say no because I feel like the experience is the experience. Like you do what you know to do.
Yeah.
You do what you think you should do. Um, you know what I'd say? This is a technical answer. I would say, and I'm not out of time to do it. I would have been more intentional about creating music in this year because
Mm,
just yesterday I was thinking to myself, look how many songs we listen to from different eras that we refer to as good music. So the concept is that good music never dies, right? It could be
mm-hmm.
like African Sweet Thing, it could be like the Miss Education, Lauryn Hill, it could be Jill Scott's album, it could be Coffee, no, or Chronic.
Yeah.
Um, so my thought process was if I was really disciplined to sit down and bang out like 3 albums worth of material and just sit on that and gradually release that when the
Yeah.
world starts to open back up, how productive would that have been? Like literally to plot out like a 5-year musical experience around these 3 albums with like 15 songs on each album. Like I have 45 songs. I'm gonna plan visuals and everything. And wouldn't that be a musically productive thing to do? So if I could go back and start again, I would start plotting out my whole musical thing.
Well, I mean, you still have time. You
We
still
still have
have
time.
time.
We
Yeah.
still have time, right?
I mean, get to it. Get to it.
Let's get
I
to
didn't
it.
even put this up on screen. Like this is. You guys should check out Mario on all of your streaming
I
platforms.
love
Reggae.
that because it is like you have no excuse.
Yeah, like no, go and check it out. Let me move this banner so one can see the something properly. Here we go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my debut album, released
it's
in
on
2015,
love.
5 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think my favorite track is probably Soul Tech. I like that one.
You say my soul take, soul
Mario,
to you, baby, soul take to you, not lie.
he's singing. I
He's singing. It's the end of the year. We have to sing on Digital IQ. Come on. Come on here.
Okay, so last question. Where you see yourself going in 2021 and beyond? I'm hoping there'll be music.
You know what? I'm tired of coming on these interviews and promising music, but I'm going to say it again. I plan to release some new music. I just hate saying it over and over and it hasn't manifested, but at least I'm throwing it into the universe again. There will be music. There will always be music. Um, I'm really going into boss CEO mode because with the pickup, well, not to give away everything, but let's talk. People need to know how these things work. As an entrepreneur, you either have, as a doctor particularly, either have walk-ins from maybe Google, which is where
Mm-hmm.
I get most of my walk-ins from. Guys, if you have a business location, sign up for Google Maps. It's free and it works really well.
Google Business, Google Maps.
Google Maps, claim your location. You have friends who come to you, and then you have word of mouth, and that's
Mm-hmm.
marketing in the streets. Then you can get into ads and other stuff. But then, big thing, you have partnerships. And recently, I started to do medicals for Sagicor, where I normally go into work, but now their clients can come to me. So the agents book the appointments for the clients, the
Yeah.
advance, and they come into my office. What that means is a relatively quiet office now has the potential to be full almost all the time
Mm-hmm.
because they can clog up the system because Sagicor has a lot of clients getting insurance.
Yeah.
This is a great business blessing for me because I think that I was functioning at a small level and I
Mm-hmm.
don't think I was making the reach to be function at a bigger level. And that transition is happening. So I hope next year I continue to nurture that partnership. And I think it will really cause a significant change in my private practice. So that's the boss CEO part. So I'm looking forward to furthering that. And musically, the sky is always the limit. I still have dreams of winning a Grammy. I still have dreams of being like a Jamaican Solange now. And I say that because I like to be a little off the beaten path. I don't want to create everything that sounds like everything. Kind of just want to do some off the wall, like Mario with a collar popped and a cape and a V-neck shirt and like the Killmonger hairstyle and some crazy scenery and slow motion and
Yeah.
off the wall stuff in my head. Um, but so yeah, I just like to push the envelope. I mean, keep doing the things that work for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to keep the things that work. I don't think I'll ever stop doing podcasting. I think it's like a beautiful gift, and you network with people, and I feel like it's a therapy session. I feel every episode is a therapy session for the persons I'm speaking to and for me. And,
Mm-hmm.
and for that reason, I'll continue doing that. And oh, let's not leave out this part. Relationships and love.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just hoping that flourishes even more. We'll just leave that right there.
Okay. Okay. All right, Mario.
You know what I want to know.
I am happy that we got to have our catch up. It's funny because I'm wanting to have these catch ups with friends before the end of the year, and it just so happens that we're recording them.
Well, they just came and sat in on our catch up.
Yeah, it just happens to be public. But yeah. I appreciate you, Mario. Generally speaking, I appreciate you. Like overall.
I appreciate you a whole lot, and I'm really glad that we met. I always say this, and I'm glad how you came into my life, when you came into my life, and how you function in my life. And even though we're not like everyday pally friends, we have this kind of connection.
Yeah.
It's very unique, and I'm glad for it. I was just saying to people when I was a little younger, a couple years back, I was like, no new friends, no new friends, no new friends, no. I don't know I'm kind of odd. I keep meeting people in my adult life who are just wonderful beacons of light. And I'm just like, where I am now, I'm aligning with them. And I'm like, I can't be knocking out people and saying I can't meet new people because there's some beautiful new people out here.
Oh, thank you.
I embrace it, and I keep meeting new and wonderful people every day. So thank you for being one of them.
Oh, thank you, Mario. You're one of mine too. And I have to say, I've met some amazing people this year too. Had it not been for the pandemic, we probably would have never met.
Or gotten closer.
Yeah. Very true.
Definitely. That's a highlight. That's a highlight.
Definitely highlight. Thank you, Mario, for joining me today. And I had it scrolling. Let me just put it up on screen again. Y'all need to check out Mario, his different handles. The only one I did not include was Talk Truth. That's Talk Truth.
Okay. Right now, I changed it. It's TLK TRTH. It's Talk Truth without the vowels. It looks very fancy and super cool. That's why you have to jump on it. At TLK TRTH. Talk Truth.
Please check out Mario and feel free to book an appointment with him too.
Appointment. Book me to sing at your wedding.
Book all appointments. All of it.
I'm here for it. Trying to make that coin in 2021. Yeah. I'm a joker. I'm crazy. Thanks, Anika. All the best for the season. And Merry Christmas when it comes.
And big up your mommy. Like, I love your mom. I never got to meet your dad, but I met your mom in the office.
I met my mom in the office. My dad is also a bundle of joy. They're amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, all the best to you and your family for the holiday season.
Likewise.
Mario.
Enough love too. Bye, Digital IQ fam.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. And of course, highlights will be posted.